It's the Ant-Hole, baby.
What's up, everybody? It's Antonio Gillings. You already know who it is. First name Antonio, worthy of praise. Last name Gillings, God supreme. Put it together, you know what it is. I didn't name myself, my mom and them did. And we're on the Ant-Hole podcast where we dig deep, trying to get all the knowledge in the world that we can get, because all the knowledge that we can get is only in part anyway. I don't care if it's 10 people or all the knowledge we bring together, we ain't gonna know everything. Help me dig deep on the Ant-Hole podcast. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. Love y'all. Yeah.
It's the Ant-Hole, baby.
What's up, everybody? This is Antonio Gillings. This is the next edition of the Ant-Hole podcast. And today, y'all don't understand who I have on here. Very good friend of mine. She used to be, she used to work right across the street from me. She's a specialist in hair care, feminine energy. Golly, what can I say about you, Tara? I think we're gonna do a take two on this. Hold on, wait. No, we ain't doing no take two. We're gonna keep it like it is. We're gonna raw footage. You know
okay, we're gonna do raw footage.
Yeah. So look.
So you want to tell them that I'm a successful entrepreneur?
Yeah.
And I own several businesses.
Yeah.
And are amazing.
She's a hustler, a mogul. She's a friend. She's a go-getter and a survivor. And today you're gonna hear all about who I have on today. Y'all put your hands together.
Hey.
Tara Thompson, everybody.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Glad to be here. And thanks for actually inviting me to sit down and just have a talk.
Yeah. So as a normal Ant-Hole protocol, we always toast. I normally do the toasting, but today I want you to do the toast, and then
Okay, come on, let's do toast.
So what are we toasting to?
We are toasting today towards evolution. Evolution in 2025. Okay.
Bet.
Leveling up, not only leveling up, but succeeding, and then implementing those steps in order to level up, okay, towards elevation and evolution. So,
okay.
Evolution
and elevation.
Elevation.
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard something. They say if you don't look the toaster in the eyes, you have 7 years of bad sex.
Bad sex.
I don't need no more bad years of bad sex. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I need it going up from here on out. Even on my deathbed, I want to be like, thank you. That was the last one. All right, but yeah. So look, man. We met in 2019.
Absolutely.
I started my barbershop in Inglewood. First of all, barber salon, and then I think what month did you start?
I probably started a year. I moved my salon to Centinela probably a year. You had probably been there a year before I came.
Was it a full year?
It was close to it or something like that.
What, you was 2020?
No. I was in 19.
No, I moved in 2019 too. That's what I'm saying.
It probably was some months.
What month?
Then.
What month did you move in?
I have no idea.
You don't remember? Oh, okay. Yeah, I moved in like July, around the July 4th, first, something like that. And I think it was like 3 months later I saw you.
Yeah.
So the way that it worked is I'm always like in helper mode and stuff like that. So I seen a dude helping this young lady, and first of all I was like, who is that over there? Yeah. You know, and so I went over to introduce myself and let people know that I was in the area, as I always do, and I met Tara for the first time, and then I met Sean,
right?
You know, and you know we
bonded because we from the South.
Instantly. Yeah,
South.
Oklahoma ain't really the South.
On the map, it is Midwest. We have Southern mannerisms. Okay,
that's all right.
But I moved here from Texas. Prior to that, I lived in New York. So.
Yeah, but she from the South because she country. You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah. Yeah. So as I always ask as a first question, before we start digging deep on the at-hole is who is Tara Thompson?
Who am I at 51 and 2025? And I have to say that because who I am today is definitely not the Tara that I was 10, 20, 30 years ago. So I am most importantly a child of God at 51. From there, who I am really doesn't matter because my purpose is about serving people. So for me, the name Tara, it's a blessed name that was given by my parents. However, I don't coexist if I'm not fulfilling my purpose. So it's really not about the name. To me, it's just who am I? I'm Tara and I'm a child of God, and my purpose is to continue to serve and allow others opportunity that as minorities that we are limited to. And so that's who I am.
So you would surmise yourself as a server.
Yes, even though I'm a mother of 2 adults and I now have a granddaughter, it's kind of hard for me to say that. But I'm TT.
No, you grandma.
I'm TT.
You Nana.
Oh.
You Nana.
Okay, now you want to fight.
I know that would strike a nerve. When people get over 45, they be trying to hang on to their youth and stuff. You don't want to get old.
I don't.
I don't either. Because I'm knocking that 50's door.
And it's a transition. When you go from 49 to 50, I'm telling y'all right now, it's a transition. The law of last year, I was like, what am I supposed to do with myself? What am I supposed to do with myself? So it is a transition. Those be aware. Duly notes.
Wow, yeah.
But
that's the goal, though, to get old.
It is.
Like, what's the alternative?
We don't have one.
I don't want it.
We don't have one, so I do definitely align with age is just a number because it is, but you still have to move with caution because your body's going to say, hey, I am whatever the specific age is, and your mind's going to be like, oh no, I'm still 20, 30. I still got this.
She said 20, 30. Is that the vision? 2020, 2030? No, that's what she's trying to be. She's trying to be out here pie.
No, I would never even want to go back to you being young. If I did, it'll be 31. I loved my 30s.
I was about to ask you that. What?
It'll be 30s.
Yeah.
31 because I had great. But it will be 30s. But to be honest with you, I would not prefer to go back. Because there was so many lessons and it was so many hard lessons. Yeah. And I went through hell. Yeah. So no, I'm good.
The hell is what makes you who you are today.
It is, but still.
That's why you can be 40, what they call it, 40 fine? 50 fine?
50 fabulous.
Something like that.
Yeah, we fabulous.
Yeah. So I'm glad to get older, man. But the only thing I don't like about it is when you wake up with a pain that you didn't go to sleep with. You know? But yeah, so tell me some things that got you to this point. Like, some of the tough things that you experienced. I know a couple of things that you went through, and
life has its definitely. So it's so funny that I was saying, you can plan, but God laugh at you or whatever that analogy speaking is. And it's the truth. I've always been a planner and an overachiever. As an ex-professional athlete, it's just embedded in me, and it's just so funny. Just a few months ago, I was praying.
You said professional athlete?
I ran track professionally.
I didn't know you ran professionally. I thought you just ran in college.
No, went to Olympic trials in '92, and
I didn't know that.
And ran overseas. Yeah, I stopped because my son was ill, so I had to pivot and I had to let go. But yes, I was that girl.
Oh wow,
I was, and blessed it down to my children, which they got they got scholarships, soccer and football when they were in college. But what led me, it's just a lot of mistakes. So what I have definitely learned in my life, there are so many broken individuals, and you don't know you broken walking around here. You think you normal. You think, hey, and we get used to toxicity and chaos, and that becomes normality, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was raised in none of this is intentional by any means. Parents back in my parents' age group, did the best what they could with what they had.
For
and they
sure.
had children young. So my mom and dad was married and had 5 of us, 4 girls, 1 boy. By the age of 25, and of course struggled financially and different things. However, the environment that was created, and it was actually due to my father. During those times, he was on drugs and a lot of different things going on, but that cultivated an unhealthy environment. So when you are raised in an unhealthy environment, but you think that's the norm, and then when you're raised in poverty, everybody's the poor, so everybody doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So that becomes a norm. And from Oklahoma City, I remember riding in my dad's Cadillac all the time because I was very close to my father. Out of the girls, I was the second to the oldest, but my brother was second to the youngest, so I was the boy. I was the protector. I was all of that because I was a fighter.
Oh yeah, got them hands, huh?
I don't try to, not no more. I'm just gonna try to keep the hands over there so I can get to Jesus. But I'll be like, please don't test me, please don't test me. But and to even pivot from that. My sisters are beautiful, and just having to protect them since our brother was close to the end. So everybody had a responsibility. So my older sister and I were 10 months apart. So she was the thinker, and I was the muscle, and that's how we collaborated and worked together. So she had a hard responsibility, even to this day. She's still the leader.
Y'all should have made a nightclub or something.
No.
With you being the muscle, you know what I'm saying? And she doing the business part of it, y'all would have been successful in the mug. The Thompson girls.
No, that would not. No, because all they did was land me in jail on top of that.
You got a 7-time felon. You know, I'm just joking.
I'm not a felon, but I went to jail. And that's just a part of my journey too. So just as, again, being in an environment, and I left home at 16. My father was in prison. My mother was raising all of us, and she was dealing with a guy who was just not a good guy. And I was the #1 state athlete in Oklahoma at the time. So I just knew for me, only way success was college. You know, back in those days, it was just college.
That was your way out, yeah.
And you had to get scholarship because he ain't got no money.
Right, for real though.
He ain't got no money.
Yeah.
So that's what literally led me on my journey. I had my children in college. I was with their father. We married and so forth. We're together from 17 to 30 years old. But of course, not having all the tools as an adult, especially as a young adult, it leads to a lot of informed information and poor decision making. And just lack of knowledge. Yeah. So my journey continued on very heavily, just survival mode. So I've been in survival mode since I was 16 years old. Didn't see my mother from 16 until I was like 21 or 22 or so. My father was incarcerated, had to deal with all of that. So when it comes to life for me, it has definitely been a lot of this. But I will say there has been a lot of successful times. And I always tell my adult children who are now 30 and 28, learn the lesson. Anything that you do in life, anything that you experience, hardship, learn the lesson, unless it's going to repeat itself. Because that's God putting you through that storm and through that journey for a reason. If you don't learn the lesson, you will repeat that same poor decision making. And He's trying to move you out of that, but you have to hear Him. And for me, someone as stubborn, as hard-headed as I was, and still can be at times, God had to do drastic things for me. Sometimes, you know, God can pat us and be like, all right, now that's 1 warning. That's 2 warning. All right, you ain't listen. Whoa.
Right.
All right, there you go. Let you sit right there.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
So, anyway, so it's been a lot of hardships, but a lot of good things because I've always managed to elevate. That's the reason why I use elevation into 2024. But I've always to navigate through that and also elevate. But just thankful for a lot, and which is why right now I am on a sabbatical. Even though I'm doing this, I stopped by. Just taking our time so I can spiritually still align with the Lord and then mentally make sure that I know the things that I'm implementing for this year, that it is aligned with God, not even about me. We all have vision and dreams, But I learned in church a couple of Sundays ago, a lot of times our visions that are given upon us by the Lord, it's not for us, it's for others.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's ultimately everybody's purpose is not to focus on themselves. Like, for real. I think you honor yourself. Like, what's the scripture? It says, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, which is loving yourself first. And then it says the second is to love thy neighbor as thyself. So if I love myself properly and I love you properly, then you don't have to put your guard down, because I want the best for you, and I'm not gonna violate or break a relationship.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know what I was saying, but
that's facts. Sometimes people don't like to talk about their struggles because we don't like to hold ourselves accountable. We don't like to hold ourselves accountable.
I do. I really like holding myself accountable. I'm huge on self accountability now, because it's like it's nothing worse than somebody else calling you on stuff that you already know. I mean, and that's the thing, like, if that's why I go back to loving myself first, because if I love me properly, I'm gonna love everybody else properly. And I think a lot of times people are broken, they're messed up on the inside, and they don't love themselves until they heal and are whole, and then they go out in the world, because all relationships, when you deal with people on a consistent basis, is a relationship, regardless of if it's romantic or platonic or whatever. It's a relationship, and if I go into any relationship and I'm not whole, then I can mistreat a person. So I like to take time for myself to make sure I'm whole, so when I go out in the world, everybody can be affected by the wholeness that I am on the inside first.
No, I agree with that.
So I do a lot of self accountability, and then too, like when I see other people that are not whole, and they're kind of affecting me, because I'm an empathetic person, but I'm learning not to take on other people's problems. You have to let people process their own stuff. You know what I mean? And so that's where I'll be with it. Like, yeah.
No, you do. I think it's in our culture in general, specifically African American, we just tend to take on a lot of issues, especially family, individual family issues, and we have not learned to set proper boundaries with that. I think it's okay to help family to a certain extent, but when a person continues to get themselves into a position, that's a choice.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Continue to be a choice. And if you condone bad behavior by helping that person, they're never going to learn the lesson.
That's true.
And as mothers, we tend to want to bail out our adult children all the time.
That's for sure. Not just mothers.
People we love all the time.
Yeah.
And you got to take a step back, because if you don't take a step back, you will find yourself emotionally in torture, and then also in some type of financial deficit, because you're giving.
Yeah.
And what I've learned the last 7 years is I work extremely hard, and I can't call anybody if I'm down, if I don't have $2. So
you can't call anybody?
Yeah, I'm saying.
What do you mean?
So I can't call somebody, hey, can you run me, I'll just say $100
Right.
Because no one has it. And right now I know we're all dealing with the inflation and all that. I'm just not talking about that. I'm just talking about the norm. Being an entrepreneur is really, really tough. It's a 7-day, 24/7 hour job, because you should be innovative and still be moving your product or your services on a quarterly and annually basis towards elevation, in order to continue to make your sales and improve your service and your product.
I like how you keep throwing elevation in there.
Hey.
Yeah. Towards elevation. Yeah.
Yeah, for setting your goals and objectives and so forth, but allowing people to put their stuff on you, it will actually ruin you. It will cause so much I'm gonna say ruin you, so I won't use that, but it'll cause so much disturbance in your flow. So I don't do that. Yeah. I've set boundaries officially even this year for my adult children. Yeah. But no, I don't do that anymore because I just have to pray for you. Cause
that's right.
I can't do nothing. And I'm not, even if I can, I used to be like, okay, I'll help. And I am a giver, a whole giver. And I still don't mind helping, but there are boundaries with me with even doing that. Yeah. I will allow opportunity so you can work and make some money. And you can get up at 4 or 5 o'clock with me and start working to make some money. But you can't call me and be like, hey, T, can I hold? No, you can't hold nothing. Because let me tell you. Let me tell you how my bank account's set up. Nah, you cannot.
Yeah.
Not anymore. People take advantage on top of that.
That's true. I ain't never really had much people to take advantage of, so I don't know how to get a call. Hey, Tony, you got no, I ain't never really had nothing, so. But I've always been rich in, like, advice.
Absolutely.
Y'all been rich in advice. You ask me a question, I can tell you how to get to the bag and get where you need to be. But don't ask me for mine because, I ain't got none right now. You know what I'm saying? It's coming, though.
We all struggling. We all struggling.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm grateful to have you on here. And I wanted to ask you, how did you... See, I ain't had no question. This is all improv.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And how did you experience having a child in college?
Oh my gosh, that was interesting. Being an athlete on top of that, and especially I got pregnant with my daughter sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year. It was.
And you had 2 in college, right?
I had 2.
Okay.
They were back to back, and I was on birth control. My body just.
Are you sure you're not Hispanic? Antonio is Spanish. I got 5 of my own.
I am. My mother's Hispanic and black. My grandmother's Mexican, so I am. Yeah, okay. Real life.
And you can't even speak Spanish. That's some bullshit. No, can you speak Spanish?
I do.
Oh, that's good.
I can understand definitely, and actually, I just started back some courses, so I can be able. Yeah. No, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was full Mexican. Actually, my mom's mom.
Oh, okay.
But it was challenging. But again, when you come for nothing and you don't have nothing, it's the only way that my whole mindset was I had to get an education.
Yeah, for real.
I had a daughter and a son, and as a woman, I had to lead by example. I didn't even know what that meant in my 20s, but I just knew that my mother led, and we're all successful because of her. Even though she didn't go to college, she pushed us. Okay, even though I left home and I had to survive for myself. I finished high school by myself, went to college and everything all by myself and so forth. But everything we were taught, it was still embedded in me. So I was out. So let's just say I had to survive, and I survived.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't in the streets using my body or nothing, but I had to survive, and I did do that. Yeah. So I will definitely call myself a highly educated hustler and a street hustler and a hustler. And
that's important to have.
Very diverse in all aspects.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that because to have the education, I have my MBA and then my master's in organization design and development, which is process improvement. My corporate job is vice president of internal audit and compliance. And from there, when I lost everything in 2010, which led me to move to Los Angeles in 2011, due to bad divorce.
That was my next question.
Yeah,
actually.
through bad divorce. But to follow up to follow up on the question you said, it was challenging to be a student athlete in general, and then being a mother on top of that, it was very overwhelming, challenging. So while everybody was on the campus going to parties and all that, I couldn't do that. Yeah. And then when I had to give up my scholarship, it hurt like hell. I never wanted to go.
You couldn't put no breast milk in the freezer, like y'all.
No, my son was sick. He was in the neo-NIC unit for 6 months when I had him.
Oh, okay.
So it was like that. It was like deathly. So I had to stop.
Yeah.
And even once I got him out the hospital and stuff, he had to have special care and all that.
Yeah.
It was no way that
You
I
had
was
to
going.
nurture. You had to nurture
and
for sure.
I had to just let some go. And I never want to go through life with woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I still stick to that. But I hate that I didn't get to finish my track career because there's no telling where that would have taken me.
Yeah.
But again, it's all lessons. I never was a person that was like, oh, I want a family, want to have kids. It was so many of us and so much chaos. I was like, oh, hell no.
All right. Like, oh, so you was kind of like, hell no on
Oh
the,
yeah, no,
on the
I
family
wasn't.
thing?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, and I love my children and I love my grandchildren, but I'm not big on kids, even to this day. That my kids, God just guided us, and we made it through. But no, I'm not big on children. I love children from afar. I'll buy and play with them, but ain't nobody come in my
auntie
house.
and all that.
I'm not doing none of that because I don't have the mental capacity, as my daughter says sometimes. No, I don't. I don't like the noise. I don't like none of that. I'm sorry.
Like, so how'd you process them crying? Hey,
Hey,
you better get it together. I know you're just 3 months old, but you better get it together.
I probably said some stuff like that too. Real talk. Being young on top of that. But I was able to get through that. My children's father and I went to Oklahoma State. He finished his master's. I was still trying to finish my undergrad. And once he did that, we moved on off and we moved up north and so forth. And our journey began as a family. We got married and so forth. So the rest is history.
So when did you get married? After college or?
No, it was after. I think we got married when I literally don't know the year, to be honest with you. And I said I was gonna look, but I think we were like 24, 25 when we got married.
Okay.
And then when I was 30, I had a beautiful home. We moved back from up north down to Dallas and moved to Dallas in 1999. Had a 3,800 square foot home. Beautiful. I didn't want for nothing because their dad has always been a provider. And I don't know, I was just not happy.
So you just all of a sudden like, I don't think this is my life.
Well, so I was a mother and I was still trying to, by the time I divorced him, I had to finish school and everything. But I didn't feel accomplished and he was still excelling. And with me, I am I'm competitive at anything. And I was like, this nigga keep on doing this and keep on getting these jobs and keep on. I was like, and I'm just being a mom and I'm not using my education.
You didn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah, so I did not. And the issues that we had, they could have been resolved. But at the end of the day, when you're young, you don't know how to facilitate those conversations.
That's true.
Don't know how to sit down and say, hey, I feel like this, blah, blah, blah. And you don't know how to focus in on the problem.
Your body's changing, your hormones changing, and you're getting older, processing like this union that you're in, which is supposed to be a union that morphs continuously together, but there lies a thing of like, not feeling like you're worthy, not feeling important, not feeling all the things, and you just make a decision.
Yeah, and for us, it was me spending too much money, myself not understanding his role as a provider and as a father and a husband, because he had a lot of sacrifices too. I mean, but I didn't see that because all I saw as a young mother and woman was what I was doing. Hell, the daycare didn't even know who he was because it was all what I was doing with the kids. So I just felt that I was not being fulfilled and I was not doing what I knew I needed to do something. And so I just woke up one morning and I was like, can't do nothing but these damn kids, but I can divorce. And that's what I did. I mean, I was just like, that's it, I'm done. And again, it wasn't until years later, and I'll get into that, where we talked, but and one thing I've also too, we can do this have another conversation. So when a man's mother is absent in his life, that will impact him in his adulthood and how he deals with a woman from an emotional perspective. And so my ex-husband also had to deal with that. So his mother, she was there, but I'm not going to go into things, but she was there, and she wasn't only because some things that were going on, but that still impacted him. And at that time, him and I being young, the love that I was seeking, he didn't know how to give because he wasn't taught, right? And That's a whole nother conversation, but it's factual.
Yeah.
So, and then myself didn't know how to communicate. So you got two young people that know how to communicate. They got money, got this, that, and other, but they're both unhappy.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'll walk in a minute. I'm not about to stay somewhere. And I call myself a runner, but that's how I keep my peace too.
You know, a lot of women are like that these days. And I think that's what contributes to men not wanting to choose a woman in matrimony these days. Because, you know, we live in a society in America where you can marry a woman today and then a year, 2, 10, 15, however long, a woman can wake up any of those days like you did and say, I'm done. And in the process of that, they get half of everything that you built. And I don't, you know, I'm not saying that it's fair or not fair, but at the end of the day, it makes men look at relationships with women like, man, you know, like, I'll just take them and I'll toss them.
No,
Take them out, toss them. When I'm tired, I'll do the same thing. And with that type of mentality, we never are able to build real wealth. We're never able to build a real relationship that is a partnership.
I agree.
You know?
I think it's unfair because I hang with more men in my whole entire life than women. I just get along with men a lot better. But I do think it's unfair, which is why prenups are imperative. And I don't care if you think you don't have anything. Let me tell you, life goes on, and things we always develop and grow. Everybody should have a prenup, even though we're getting off topic. But yes.
No, it ain't no topic. That's the thing. That's the part. That's why I got digging deep. You know what I'm saying? We on the ant hole and we be digging deep. So therefore, we can go down any of these clavicles. Is that the right word? I don't know.
I don't know.
It sounds right. It sounds good. We can go in any one of these pockets and just talk about it.
But it is the truth, though. People should have prenups, and I support that because if I ever chose to remarry again, it would definitely prenup. Yeah. I don't think marriage is for me, but to those I support it.
You wouldn't get married to the right person though.
I really just don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
You're a track star. What was your never mind. We'll get into that.
Sprinters and hurlers. I was a sprinter and hurler.
She was fast. She gone.
And I still run to this day because it helps me mentally.
Yeah, me too.
But
I love running.
No, I feel that it's important to have a prenup, and like for me, I don't know if I will ever remarry again because people change, and then when they and we're all going to change. That the changing is okay, but still stay in line with the changing. That's what we as individuals have a problem with, and I'm an individual because a lot of people don't know how to communicate.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm big on communication.
Me too,
I am big on it.
Yeah. I love talking. I don't even like going to bed mad. Like there's an issue that's going to keep us up to 4 a.m. Now, let's get to it before then. But if it keeps us up to 4 a.m. and I got to wake up at 6, I would do it just for the sake of keeping peace and being like in harmony. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm big on that too. A lot of people don't. A lot of people like put stuff under the rug. Oh, we'll talk about it later. Like we like, no, I want to talk about it now. I want to get this out, okay? I don't like that. Because if I'm doing something to cause something, let's because maybe I didn't identify that, right? So bring it to my attention. And I may not agree at that time, but I'm going to take out time to ponder on it so I can actually hear and understand. That's the Tara today. Now, the younger Tara, she just like this. She got so much say. I didn't say it, you didn't heard it, and that's it. But that's again.
That's good. That's good too. The oldest to be.
It's not
in a way.
No,
to
I'm
be
glad
firm,
I'm not like that.
To be firm in what you say and mean what you say and say what you mean. That's good because there's no gray areas, and I think a lot of times when you move any other way, there's room for gray areas, and that's since October. I've been closing out all gray areas in my life. So by this October, I'm gonna be a brand new dude. I promise you. This October 25, oh my God, Y'all might as well call me a superstar. No, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I'm gonna be on somebody's billboard, TV, something, cartoon. I don't know. I really don't know. But this October of 2025, it's gonna be amazing.
Hey, I feel you.
Because I'm looking to be the master of my fate and the captain of my soul, like Invictus. You know what I'm saying? For real. I am that already, but you know, it takes a while to shape the things that you are and want to be, because it takes work, you know, to get there.
It does. It does, and it's just, to me, it's the fortitude of, again, is your thought process, how your thought process and your alignment, and that has to definitely do with spiritual. And when you're young, you just outside, you just going with the flow with all type of stuff. I'm glad I ain't young no more. I just keep saying that. Lord. I just would never do it again.
I'm glad to be, Lord. I couldn't wait to get older.
Nah, I didn't rush that though.
I didn't rush it, but I kind of rushed in some things. You know, that's why I got 5 kids. I had 2 kids by the age of 24. You know, well, yeah, 20. Yeah, before I was 24, I had 2 kids already. Well, I was 20 with 2 kids.
Oh, okay, you were 20.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
yeah, my kids grew up with me. We went to prom together. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I wasn't that fast. But yeah. So yeah, I got my first 2. I got 2 27-year-olds. And that's crazy to say that, because I feel like I'm about 30 myself.
That's when I tell people, oh, my kids are 30 and 28. They would look at me and be like, yes. No, I wasn't a teenage mom. No, I wasn't. However, yes. Lord, but I'm glad I had them young though. So it was either God knew, give it to a young, unless I wouldn't have had children. Because again, I'm not a big advocate. Love them from afar, and I love my nieces and nephews. I'm a boy mom. I love boys more so the girls. I can't deal with the emotions and all the drama. But the boys, we rough and tough. Let's get it. I have 2 nephews. Larry Jr., he grew up, we call him Lil J. He is, I can think about 24, 25 now. And then the youngest nephew, Loyal is, I think, 6. And he is just in the Legos, auntie. I want some Legos. Yeah, so I love boys.
Yeah, I got my daughter had, I'm a grandfather.
Yeah, she had a baby 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, 3.
Oh, is it 3 now?
3 years already. Yeah, so he turned 3 on the 5th of this month.
Okay.
Yeah, so
dang, time went by fast.
It's interesting because he when I first, not the first time, but the second time I went home, he was a little bit older. I think he was already walking or close to walking, but his motor skills was amazing. I was like, this baby's gonna be brilliant. And my daughter's doing a fabulous job of raising him, because he's smart. He knows so much.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that because he's my grand. You know what I'm saying? He's a very brilliant little young man.
Good.
Yeah, so.
Well, hopefully my daughter, this will be the only one. My son has said
only one. Man, how people be saying Black Lives Matter and then be just talking about 1 and 2 kids? Now we need to do it like our ancestors did. I need look.
Inflation. They didn't have this inflation.
Man, bump that. You think they were thinking about inflation or busting it open?
Well, they need to be. Today, you need to be thinking about inflation.
No, you need to think about busting it open. Listen, let me tell y'all something.
Do not listen
I'm
to
telling y'all, bust it open, because the first command of God was be fruitful and multiply. Multiply. That's the only way our people gonna sustain this earth.
But as Dr. Bryant would say, marriage.
Who is Dr. Bryant?
I don't know her first name, but she's. Everybody knows Dr.
Fact check yourself.
Doc.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Dr. Bryant, I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about her?
Well, no, like she said, multiplying fruit for us having children is fine, but the way to do that is cultivating. It's marriage, It needs to be marriage, just us.
No, for sure.
Yeah. But I just wanted to put that out there because you talking about multiply, because everybody just multiplying out of wedlock and all this stuff, and that's not okay. Which just sets us up as a community for failure.
So let me ask you something. Let's talk about it. the original concept of marriage was what? What married the first man and the woman together?
Say that again.
In order for two to become one flesh, you have to do what? You have to marry.
Right.
You have to join
unite.
together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first marriage. So when you think about being responsible, if you love somebody, don't you think that, this is how I feel. And now don't quote me, because I ain't going against what people believe and all that, but I believe that marriage is an institution of love. And if you love someone enough to lay down with them, that is a marriage. And it's just how I feel. I mean, I really don't feel like, because what can you do out of the sight of God? Tell me one thing that you can do out of the sight of God.
Nothing.
So if you can't do nothing out of the sight of God, why do you think that it takes me to get in front of these people to say, this is my wife or my significant other to be, it's still inside of God. If you go get, like if I go find a woman on the street right now, like, and I say, hey, how you doing? And I start to love her, and then she loved me back, and we.
But we know, Antonio, that's not God's governance for a marriage. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that that's not how God identified marriage. That's all. We know that.
Why you say that?
Because He doesn't identify marriage necessarily as what you're saying. It's not wrong, but we know God identifies marriage as legal on paper, blah blah blah. And that could be that has become the custom of man. I was gonna say, and it could also be a part of man. That's become the custom of man since subscription. Subscribe to the anthole. Please do.
Since men have been scribing, but like back in the day, men used to say, "Hey, do you want my daughter?" Like look at Lot. Lot had this dude work for him for what, 14 years before he gave him the real daughter. Matter of fact, he gave him the other daughter. He didn't want Leah. He wanted Rachel.
Okay, nevertheless.
And so back then it used to be, even then it was like, if you're gonna take my daughter, we're gonna have to build. I have to know who you are, and we have to build wealth. It was all about economics. That's what marriage is like. Even in this country, yeah,
it's a business.
It's a business. Nobody is really marrying for love no more.
And that's sad.
But it's very sad. I would agree. So
for me, I do think that definitely people should marry for love. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, they're. So I've dated someone who wasn't financially on my level, and I can never do that again. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I experienced it. Okay. Had a decent time to a certain extent, but I can't. For me, it doesn't work for me. He has to literally, I'll be honest, at 51, he has to be on my level or on a higher platform, because I cannot. I'm not taking care of a man. I'm just not. I'm not. If I want to get up and go take a trip, and you got to sit up and be like, oh, hold on, well, we got to plan it. Okay, that's fine, but I'm not. We can plan that trip, but I'm still going to go.
I'll be back.
Right, because I just where I am in my life, I just can't. And there are some amazing men I know out here, but for me, your pockets got to equal, because I have a lifestyle that I have worked hard for. And I'm just not in the means to share like that. I'm just not.
Yeah. I mean, that's your prerogative. It's your money, and you got to stick by it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel you on that. I mean, because like, it's one thing to be in union, because like I said earlier, like our relationships is a relationship. I don't care if you're just a friend or not, but we got a relationship. And so
That's just even for women. I don't mean to cut you off, but just like we travel, there are certain women that I can't invite to certain trips because their pockets doesn't align. So I don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
There's certain women who just cannot get along with others in the group, so you don't get an invite either.
Right.
So it's all the same.
Right.
To me, it's
Why
all
don't
the
you
same.
just send a blanket invite out, even if they can't? You know what I mean?
Nah. That's it. That ain't none of that. Just don't get no invite. That's it. And they ask, I tell them as nice as I can. But on trips you don't want no drama.
Yeah, for real.
But to your point,
especially if you're going out the country, cause out the country, soon as I get to the airport, I'll be like, yeah, I'm detox. When I hear this right here, I'll be like, yeah, this time it's party
yes,
time.
it is.
And the last thing you need is a mofo on there that's gonna cause drama.
How much is this? How much is that? No. I'd be like, keep that person away from me. Because I have been invited on some trips with some friends, and then I became friends with their friends. But a few of them, I tell my girlfriend, well, I have to stop cursing this year. But prior, she can't pull up with us no more. Okay? That's what she can't do.
Right.
But back to the marriage thing, I do agree. Marriage now, we all facilitate in our heads what that looks like, and I think it's to each his own. For me, I'm not gonna say that marriage is not in my future. I'm just going to say that I have to feel very confident that the person is in alignment, and meaning that there is no divorce. Okay, we got to work the stuff out. Whatever it is, because I don't want to go through that. There will be a prenup. I don't care, and if it ain't no prenup, but everything's cutting close because I'm not going through.
I kind of feel like that too, because even though I ain't got nothing right now, I feel like my potential though. My potential is like I literally feel like I'm gonna be a billionaire one day.
Hey,
like for real,
as you should.
And I don't want nobody getting half a shit. I hate to say it like that, but shit, it's a real thing.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, y'all, but yeah. No, but for real, I don't want I feel like I got some work to do on myself, and
we all do,
and in life, and I don't want nobody taking nothing from me. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm not empowered enough, or in a position where somebody can tell me to get out,
right,
or leave, and I'm like, nah, I'm too old. too much better than that, and too old. And so
no, so something that I also have taught my 28-year-old son, the same thing, don't. Him and his girlfriend moved in together years ago, and they're not together any longer. And he learned his lesson even after that breakup. He was in transition. He was like, "Mom, I can move with a female friend." I said, "Lies you tell. You will not. You better get over there and go get your." No. I was like, "You never living with anybody again." I said, "You did this without speaking to me, blah blah blah, but you won't make the same mistake, okay? Because if you don't have your own, and you don't have things in place, a young woman and an OB will never respect you, okay? So, and use the yelling.
You don't think so?
Oh no! If a man don't have his own, and I'm an alpha woman, you gets cut because I'm gonna run right over you anyway.
No, but what if this dude got? Well, yeah.
No, we don't. I'm just telling you. No, right. A woman. It doesn't matter if she's an alpha or not. If you do not have your own as a man, it doesn't matter his age. We will not respect you. Didn't say that we wouldn't talk to you. Didn't say we wouldn't sleep with you. Didn't say we wouldn't play with you. But that's the key word. We gonna. If she got her stuff together, she gonna play with you. If she doesn't have her stuff together, she'll ride it out, be in a relationship, whatever, because she ain't got nothing to lose anyway. So, but if a woman got her stuff together, she gonna have a good time with you. Y'all gonna go out, kick it. She sleep with you to another, but again, she gonna play with you because she's looking for the one. It's a difference. And I think some men don't realize that. So when a man, but when guys come to me, I always say, I'm a customer service rep. That's my whole line. I'm a customer service rep.
You see?
I'm a customer service rep. And I live it right there. I live in Watts, and I'm a customer service rep. Nicholson Gardens, everything.
Y'all hear the lies.
No, they didn't. But You got to say something because a lot of men are disrespectful. In the South, you know, the mannerisms are different if you turn a guy down.
Yeah.
And the West Coast, East Coast, you can get called out your name and everything, and all type of stuff has happened to women when they have walked away. So I had to teach my adult daughter, you ain't got to be nasty. You can be nice nasty.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to be that. You can actually just be respectful.
No, thank you.
Create some stuff.
No, thank you has always been, you know,
it goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Because for one, what I've learned is no is a complete sentence. And thank you is just gratitude. So it's like, you know, I'm going to speak no, thank you, so you can go on about your day, you know.
And I just, before we end on this topic, I just want to say, we all have seasons up and down. So if I met a man that I was interested in, he was in a down season, I wouldn't take that from him because he's going to get out of that, me personally, because no one remains here.
Yeah,
it's
real.
always going to be here. However, if I'm in a season of elevation and I'm in a season of consistency and he's not, I can't personally put myself in that position. I can befriend him, but that's it.
Yeah.
I couldn't put myself in a position to be in a relationship or anything because I can't take 2 and 3 steps back.
For sure.
My journey was too hard for me personally.
Yeah.
I'll respect where he is and try to help if I feel that he is actually working towards getting out of his situation. But if he's very stagnant and comfortable, all right, boo-boo, you gonna have to stay over there with them people. I don't know what to tell you because I can't. I can't. And
because the last thing you need is somebody that's gonna be draining and bringing you down. Now it's one thing to like get with somebody that has potential and they're working on themselves and working on their ideas and you seeing some fruit from it. But it's another thing with dealing with somebody that's draining you, you know, and dragging you down. Because those things, you know, like, you know, next thing you know, you be looking just like them.
Yeah, and I know as a man, and I've learned this definitely over the last 12 years, so from 40 to date, God has given y'all so much of a responsibility. It's huge. And I don't even think that I even understood what the word being a man and then being a minority male and then being a black man. Those are different levels, right? Yeah. And the things that you guys deal with, we deal with a lot as African American women. However, nothing aligns with what you guys have to deal with. And the fact that from an emotional standpoint, you guys suppress so much, right? Because you have to be, I'm a man, hear me roar. You can't show emotion, can't show this and another. And I think that that's a false narrative. But I think we also put a lot of expectations on you guys. I know I do. As a black man, I put expectations because a man can't tell me, oh, I'm a man, but I need to see that, okay? Because I don't respect a lot of men. I didn't have that growing up. And so to date, I see a lot of men walking around here, but they're not men. They're just adults. It's a difference.
Oh, yeah.
They're just adults. Because to me, a man is supposed to be a provider.
Yeah, for sure.
A man is supposed to be nurturing as well, loving. So there's balances and checks enough. He's supposed to be a lot of stuff. But I still think, it's hard.
There's a woman.
Yeah,
you know,
it's hard.
like just like, you know, see, women have a list of things that men are supposed to be in their mind and in life, and it's the same thing with a man. Like we have, and people always want to get upset when you have gender roles, but
we do.
It's like we have them.
We have them.
Like, you know, I expect to come home after a long day's work, regardless if you worked or not. I want to eat.
Absolutely.
You know? And regardless of everything, we can get in the kitchen and cook together. But at the end of the day, we're gonna eat.
And in the South, you know that's our standard. In the South, you know, making sure that the family is fed in general. That
for sure.
Even if the woman is about to be gone all day, she gonna cook, that food gonna be on us. She gonna text everybody, all right, food's in there, but I gotta go, blah, blah, blah. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's our customary.
Or I made dinner last night.
There's leftovers, right? But I think we have definitely gotten away from that because the younger generation knows nothing about that. I think it's important for a woman to handle the house. Yes, we know how
for sure.
It's very bothersome, but it is because at the end of the day, a man don't care nothing about the house. We care about the house. Y'all care about outside tools, electronics, all that nonsense, right?
Cars.
Cars. But it's our responsibility, and that's how you actually covet and take care of your household and your man. That's the way I grew up anyway.
For sure.
I think we're lacking those principles and values today.
I think because you hold on to them, you're gonna manifest another husband. I'm just messing.
No, I believe that, you know, God, if it's in my divine alignment, He will.
Yeah.
But I'm okay if I don't. I had already told my kids, I was like, I'm gonna go to Jesus like this. It's all right. It's all right.
For sure.
I never wanted to be like a lot of people in my family, the older women who didn't have husbands, not men, but husbands in their life when they were in their 60s and 70s, on both sides, my mom and my father's side. Mm-hmm. So, but you never know. But I'm okay.
Yeah.
To me, my peace and happiness, so I can. If I stay stuck in a bubble, I'm not happy. Everybody's different, but for me, I'm a free spirit.
Yeah.
I just like to do stuff. I like to meet people, and I like to enjoy life. And I think also too, I'm not a traditional person, so I can never be with someone who's traditional because I'm not going to move like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not. So that's another reason why I don't think marriage is for me, because I'm not about to be you can't do this, can't do that.
I ain't never been like that. I want you do what you want to do.
Yeah, I think so many women. He hit like, he commented on the picture. Oh, he talked about how somebody's booty was big. Okay, do you think he not doing that anyway?
And did you not notice it? No, I'm just.
But I'm serious. I think all of that is just I don't care.
Yeah.
So for me, you have to set those expectation boundaries up front in the relationship, and you have to be really confident in who you are. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Oh, you went to have lunch with who? Okay. Did you and her have a good time? If it was a friend or even somebody that you stay, okay. Yeah. How was it? Because this is how I respond. How was it? Okay. Oh, really? Okay, good. I'm gone doing something else, because at the end of the day, I've already given you, the expectations and boundaries. If I find out that you stepped over them, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, and I'm not gonna argue with you. It ain't gonna be no issues. I'm just done. Yeah. At this age, I'm just done. Yeah, for real. We ain't even having no conversation because I don't want to.
Right. It ain't no need.
There ain't no need because I already established
it. At this age, after a boundary is crossed, it's like, man, what are we doing? What are you doing? All right, get your life, and I'll see you when you got it. But you're going to see me in a different light.
Because I'm moving totally different.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the At Home today. This is unexpected, but I appreciate you being here. Look, she came with her hair and makeup done already.
I got my face
I'm just kidding. No,
I did get my hair done yesterday. Yeah. I own a full-service salon located in Inglewood for the past 12 years. It's 10123 Hawthorne Boulevard. You can follow us on social media at EROS Hair Beauty. That is Erush Hair Beauty. Erush means love in Greek, and as a Christian, I wanted my brand, I have other businesses as well, to align with the Lord. So follow us, and I have some good stuff that's coming in for women retreats. I actually have a new business that I'm launching March the 27th. I'm excited about. It's called Erush Elevation Wellness Retreats. This is focusing on women from a wellness perspective. We will be having retreats all throughout the year, all-inclusive packages. So follow us as well at EROS Evolution Wellness Retreat on Facebook and IG.
Yeah, so give it up for Tara Thompson one more time. Yeah. So thank you again, and y'all follow her, follow the Ant Hole podcast, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for digging deep with the Ant Hole. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and keep it digging. Bye.
It's the Ant Hole, baby.